I wanted to move on to questions that people are starting to submit in the chat, questions from early career scientists everywhere. And the first one I wanted to ask that is particularly of interest to lots of current students and postdocs is whether your institution or similar institutions that you're aware of offer any kind of internships for undergraduates or graduate students or postdoctoral opportunities, and who is eligible for these, whether there's a citizenship requirement or something. So Jonathan, do you know much about that?
Sure, I can take a stab at it. I asked around the group again to make sure I wasn't going to miss any opportunities. There aren't any internships that anybody came back with in New Zealand at the moment. There are a few kind of PhDs and masters that are currently available. So that might be of interest to people. And then as terms of international versus kind of national prioritization of job applicants, it's not very strong. So we're way more committed to finding people that fit well and who skill set will complement the volcano monitoring team. And that can be national or international. I think one thing I'd point out is that we really focus on the strength of the team rather than the strength of the individuals within the team, even though obviously that's part of it. But our big strength is our broad church.
Excellent. Haru, what goes on in your institution?
Yeah. We now currently have 3 graduate students. Currently, all of them are Japanese, but we also already have several experiments to supervise foreign graduate students. Some of them already got their PhDs from Kyoto University. Sakurajima Volcano Research Center welcomes graduate students, not only graduate students, but also postdocs. Domestic, or not only domestic, but also foreign student ones. Actually, now a foreign researcher worked as a research fellow here. He's one. 3 and 2 years ago, 2 British undergraduate students stayed for 2 months as their internships. So we regularly accept their application, and some of them actually stayed here. So we welcome students, but our office is very far from Kyoto University main campus, so there are a few Kyoto University students. This is one weak point. Thank you.
Yeah. Maruchan, does PHIVOLCS have interns or anything?
Yeah, well, for permanent employment, that's kind of a more rigid. We have a more rigid system here. Of course, you have to be a Filipino citizen. But we do take interns, and I have myself supervised a couple of international interns a few years back. We have some, we've taken in a lot of, a few interns over the past years. And the subject matter of the research is something that we have to have a hand in. It's not something that they could just do at will. So we have to have a hand in what kind of data we are able to give them and what kind of work that they can do, which shouldn't at all conflict with what we are already doing. In terms of PhD and postdocs, there have been some that have been done with our institute, but this is again more rigid and mainly part of larger collaborative projects. So your institute or your school should have a collaborative project with our institute in order for you to do a PhD or a postdoc of a Philippine, utilizing PHIVOLCS data.
Sebastian, do you have any interns or students?
We're trying to get into that direction. We don't yet have internships for undergraduates. The idea is to have them to help us build up the 24/7 capacity, the same that there's in a lot of Latin American volcano observatories. But we actually do have a postdoc working in volcano seismology at Planchon Petroa volcano, and we hope to present a new PhD this year that will start working with thermal images to monitor Copahue volcano. So one of the ideas that we have for the future is to keep having postdocs and PhD students working, because there's going to be a lot of work to do, and I think it's great to have people working in research.
Absolutely. I want to answer this question a little bit from the perspective of US Geological Survey Volcano Hazards Program. We have sort of volunteer opportunities, sort of informal. Hawaiian Volcano Observatory used to have a more formal program, but it's on hold right now. But we do offer postdocs. We have a Mendenhall postdoc program. You essentially have to be a US citizen to do that. As Marichon sort of said, then you're an actual employee and there become more requirements. But in terms of internships and things, we sort of have unpaid internships, which are open to everyone, including, you know, students from around the world coming to work with experts at US volcano observatories, as well as, you know, folks just going out in the field to collect gas data every day in Hawaii. Sort of examples. So there's even a little grant program for students, I think, working on US volcanoes.